over me. She's over me. She comes with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. Hey everybody, welcome to the Paranormal Portal. These are our night terrors, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Hope you're having a great Sunday. It's been a good day for me. I've been rather productive, believe it or not, which is always nice, but it's also a beautiful day out today. It was anyway, but it's getting darker now. It's already getting darker, ladies and gentlemen. You can see the days getting shorter and shorter. It's just crazy. I don't want to let it go. I don't want the cold. I don't want it to be cold ever again. Ever. I mean, like, that'd be fine if it was 70 and sunny and with occasional rains, of course, but that'd be good. But anyway, I don't get to pick these things. It's kind of decided by where I live. So I guess I just got to deal with it either way. But welcome to the show. Hope everybody's doing great. And I know tomorrow's Monday, but hope you've had a wonderful weekend all the same. These are our night terrors, our shorter format shows. They're about an hour, roughly. Thereabouts. So I'll be here talking to you, telling you some ghostly encounters up until that point. But sit back and relax and just know the phone lines are open. 720-923-0500 is the number for fun here on the portal. Again, 720-923-0500, or look up here. It's right there, right above the screen. So here's my Vanna White. How'd I do? All right, everybody, anyone, hello? Is this thing on? No, just kidding. All right, I'm a little bit punchy, but that's what you get. It's been a long day, but a good day, and I hope you're ready because it's time for bed. All right. Well, it depends on your numbers for fun, Cha-Cha. I don't know what numbers you're dialing, lady, but you might want to save some cash. That's all I'm going to say. All right. I want to believe. Me too, Renee. I always want to believe. Ozzy Osbourne, good song. Mike's off, Brent. Yeah. Sometimes I swear it is, Farm. That's a little bit funny, but I swear it is off. It's like, hello? Is anyone there? I don't know. Thought I'd try it again. You know, it's the old shtick. You keep repeating it, and that turns out to be funny, maybe. I don't know. I don't get paid for the humor, ladies and gentlemen, so I'll do some paranormal for you, though. I got some stories pulled up for you. I hope they are good. I'm pretty certain I haven't read any of these before, so that's always a good start because, God, I don't know why I do that. I'm pretty certain I haven't, though. The first one is actually going to be a sleep paralysis one, maybe sleep paralysis. It looks like it's by the description, but it's coming from Ohio, and it has to do with the old Hague syndrome, night attacks, or sleep paralysis. So let's see what you guys think. I don't know. You know, sometimes these stories that are represented as sleep paralysis really aren't. I do think that spirits can kind of freeze us. At least some of them can. I don't know if that's a mental trick or an energy trick or what it is, but there are some that seem to be able to influence people's bodies to the point of not letting them move, which is kind of freaky. It's kind of scary. But I will tell you that if you're ever suffering from sleep paralysis or anything like that, say a prayer. It seems to be a pretty effective way of getting them to let go. Or saying the name of your chosen religious symbol or icon or person, as it may be, such as the name of Jesus Christ or the name of Muhammad or any other religious names that have a resonance and a meaning for you, because it doesn't seem to matter. The thing is every faith has examples in their stories, in their paranormal stories of and by paranormal stories I'm speaking of worshipers or believers that have had paranormal experiences. And you hear the helicopter, boy, it's just right above my house. I live next to a hospital, so they do the airlifting stuff. There's, of course, people always screwing up in the mountains and needing to be airlifted in, so it's unfortunate. But anyway, sorry about the helicopter noise. But every faith, people worshiping of different religions, they talk of being under siege from spiritual beings, and they will evoke or invoke their spiritual faith. And by doing so, it does seem to cause the spirits to let go. So that's why I always say that, and believe what you want. I'm not telling anybody to believe any one thing or any other thing. Whatever you believe is fine. My feeling is belief or having faith in something of a higher power, I think, is a good thing, because it means that that you are acknowledging your connection to a divine mind or a divine presence or whatever. But by invoking the name of Krishna, of Muhammad, of Jesus Christ, of all of these names have been evoked and had very positive results in getting whatever spiritual siege is underway to release. And so the power, in my opinion, comes from the believer. And that's not to say that there isn't a divine power. I don't think me saying that is discrediting or devaluing a divine power. What it is that divine power is in you. It's in your faith in relation to your divine power and connection to the divine power. I don't know if that makes sense or not. So that's why I always say I don't think it matters which faith you choose to pursue, as long as you believe in it wholeheartedly and it causes, it makes you feel loved and safe. So let's read what this says and find out if this is indeed sleep paralysis. So it says, I've had a few experiences in my life that I'd like some input on. I've experienced what some would call sleep paralysis. The big difference from most cases is that I was fully capable of moving if I wanted to. That already doesn't sound like sleep paralysis, but let's keep reading. And as far as I know, I have never fallen asleep. Strike two, it doesn't sound like sleep paralysis. So if you can move and you're not sleeping, it's probably not sleep paralysis. Every time this has happened, I've been able to do those things. And I've recently turned off the light and was actually having trouble falling asleep. The first time it happened, I was around 17 or 16 years old and still living with my parents in Arkansas. I had gone to bed at around 10 p.m. and had been laying there for about 15 minutes just trying to go to sleep. All of a sudden, the room got extremely heavy feeling, like the air got really thick, and I noticed an ink black spot on the ceiling that wasn't there a minute ago. I then got an overwhelming feeling that the black spot was watching me. It seemed to move locations a couple of times, but then finally just disappeared. When it was gone, the air returned to normal, and I eventually went to sleep. Fast forward to a year and a half ago, I just moved into the house I live in now, and I'm only going to describe one experience. For both times it occurred because they were both the same. Again, I had just gotten off to bed and not fallen asleep yet. I'm lying on my side when a loud humming or buzzing noise just filled the room. I couldn't locate the source of it, though. Along with the noise, the room seemed to have a very faint glow to it. I have blinds and curtains on my window, so there was no light before. Just as I had gotten used to the hum, I felt something tug at my bed covers. Needless to say, I was really freaked out. I could sense someone or something standing off to my left side beside the bed. It really seemed as though there was more than one, possibly three, in the room. Yeah, I'm terrified at this point, and I didn't want to move. I could hear the things moving around my room for what seemed like about a half hour. When the humming or buzzing noise quieted down, my room darkened to its usual original state, and things were peaceful again. Whatever was in the room with me felt like the most evil thing ever. I was utterly terrified. I said a very lengthy prayer. I believe in God, but I'm not very religious, and had trouble falling asleep for the rest of the night. Both experiences, the second happening about a week after the first, were pretty much identical. I'd really like some input as to what happened. I'm not convinced at this point that it was sleep paralysis because I was able to move under the covers. I had full use of my head to look around and follow movements. But what happened to me? I don't know. That's a great question. I don't even know. I mean, I keep thinking, could it be even extraterrestrial? Some kind of visitation of another kind? You know, I don't know. Is there other? You know, it could certainly be something dark and spiritual as well. It could just be something spiritual. It may not be as dark as this person is perceiving it to be, but I don't know. That's a really strange one. I'm not really sure. The buzzing noise kind of has me perplexed. That's the key to that story is what is that buzzing? What is that humming buzzing noise? Is that some kind of trans-dimensional issue at work? Is it a melding of two-dimensional realities? Or is there something else with that? I don't know. So the humming starts, the person can move, can look around, but they're terrified to because they're surrounded by what they think is like three beings and that are moving around the room doing something. And then the humming starts fading away and then it's gone and feels fine again. I don't know. There's something peculiar about that, but I'm not so convinced it's necessarily quote unquote spiritual, but maybe it is. I don't know. It's just a very unusual story. So I don't know. Don't know what to make of that one. The next one is coming from Virginia, and this has to do with poltergeist, they say. But I will tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's just like demon. the word poltergeist gets thrown around really easily. You know, it's like, oh, it's poltergeist. It's poltergeist. Poltergeist. If anything moves, it's poltergeist. If anything knocks something over, it's poltergeist. If anything hides your keys, it's poltergeist. People run to the titles. They throw around these terms really easily, but I don't think in a lot of cases it is, you know, quote unquote a poltergeist. If poltergeists are the manifestation of a living person, then I would say in a lot of cases they aren't poltergeist activity that we read about. But a poltergeist, by definition, not only by definition, but just by general reporting, a poltergeist situation is incredibly energetic. It's incredibly active, like seriously incredibly active. In a lot of cases, true poltergeist activity is very involved with both people, with objects, and noises and visuals. There's just a lot going on with poltergeists, and I would say that they are second in intensity only to demonic or something really dark like that, something really dark and evil and powerful. But poltergeist hauntings are incredibly active and profound. They aren't just my cereal bowl moved, it's a poltergeist. Oh, the candlestick got knocked over, it's a poltergeist. Those are incredible activity, don't get me wrong, but they don't qualify as poltergeist because in my understanding, poltergeist activity is just off the charts. It's like lots of things going on. A full kitchen full of cabinets opening and shutting, and not quite as as profound as the movie Poltergeist, but kind of in that same vein. You know how that all started when they kind of started having the experiences in the Poltergeist movie. That would be kind of what it would be like the chairs getting stacked and, these huge events, these huge energetic events, lamps flickering all throughout a house and stuff like that. So poltergeist activity is generally incredibly energetic. It's not just these little movements. It's much more profound usually. So, but let's see what this one says. It's from Virginia again. So I've heard people say that poltergeists and demons are demons, rather. But I'm not sure if that's exactly true. I would agree that's not exactly true. I would appreciate it if you commented and told me your opinion on these situations. Our house is newly built, and we built it as well. So, and there's been nobody that died in it, and I've been having very odd paranormal things happen to me, and one big one is things moving on their own. One specific one is a plate that is in the cabinet, and it always seems to move. I moved it straight and marked its spot and observed it constantly. I took a nap for about 10 minutes and no one was in the house all day, and when I woke, the plate was turned about 3 inches from where I marked it. Nothing could have possibly moved it since it is in a cabinet and no one was home at all except me. More things started happening after that, such I would place something purposely somewhere, and when I took my eye off of it for a little while, it was lost. While things keep falling when they're in impossible conditions. Now, I really need everyone's opinion on this. I've been seeing flashes of lights, knocking on the walls, and something walking around in the room next to mine. But every time I check it out, there is no culprit whatsoever. So, if you could help me out, I would really appreciate it. That's very interesting. Again, this story comes from 2009, so it's not something that just happened, and this is a found story, not one that was submitted to us. So, I would say that it doesn't really sound like a poltergeist. There's a lot of activity going on, but it's they've got D-ports where things are being taken. They've got a plate moving and objects moving, but again, not a whole profound level of activity, just activity. Now, again, I've said it many times on the show, it doesn't take a death in the house to cause a haunting. It doesn't take a century or so of activity to cause a haunting. Brand new places oftentimes end up with hauntings. Can be something that was brought into the house that has an attachment. It can be something that's attached to a person that came into the house and decided they liked it there. Any number of reasons. So you have to remember that spirits are not, they're not stickers, they're that you just attach somewhere and then it's just there. They are apparently sentient beings that have, they have desires, they have ideas, they have thoughts, they have a need for, I suppose, stimuli just like we do. And so sometimes they may change where they're at just because, wherever they're at was boring. I think that sometimes, in a lot of cases, formerly human spirits like to just be left alone as they're dealing with their stuff, but it doesn't always have to be an old place. It can be brand new places. You don't know if there's history to the ground or if something, an antique was brought in that has a connection or an attachment of some kind. So, you just got to be careful about that kind of stuff. But if you notice things going on, start thinking about, have I brought anything into the house lately? Because a lot of times that can be a big key, and bring it out of your house and see if the activity subsides. And if it does, then you need to cleanse that item before you bring it back in. If it's disturbing activity, unless you like having spirits around, and some people do. Some people are okay with that. The minion. All right, so that's a decent story. I don't think it's poltergeisty though, but it might be. I can't say it. It definitely isn't, but just in what they described, it didn't seem to be. So the next story is coming from Maryland. Has to do with pets and animals. Oh, this one's, they even got a little picture of their cat here, so I assume it's a spirit of a cat. I had to put my beautiful calico cat, Sadie, down on March 14th. She had extreme kidney failure, and I had her since she was a little kitten 18 years ago. Wow, that's an old cat. We lived in L.A. Until last year when we flew here to Rockville, Maryland, to live with my fiance. Well, our vet came to our house, and it was peaceful for her, but I was enormously sad. I probably waited a little too long because it was just hard to let her go. The most amazing thing has happened, but First, let me mention that I got in touch with Karen Anderson, pet psychic who wrote Hear All Creatures. She can communicate with living and departed pets. Well, it was the most wonderful thing because Sadie really came through, and I felt so much better. Sadie even told her to tell me the bathroom, seeing me, feeling me. And Karen said she didn't understand, but I did. It was her favorite place to lie down, and she loved to be in there when I took a bath or a shower. Karen said although Sadie was in another dimension surrounded by much love and kind spirits, she was also with me. And that I should say her name out loud and send her much love, as her spirit energy was very low after being so ill. Well, last Friday at lunch, I said out loud, Sadie, please send me a sign that you're really with me. Then I realized that was pretty ridiculous. How exactly could she send me a sign? Well, I didn't think about it again, but when I came home after work, I came upon an old Verizon cell phone that had been disconnected a year ago when I changed to Sprint. I had seen the phone 2 weeks earlier and wondered if it had any pictures of Sadie on the phone. It was completely dead, and I couldn't find the charger anywhere, so I put it aside and at that time until I could find the charger. Well, on Friday, I picked up the phone. I pushed the power button, expecting nothing. Well, it powered right up with 3 bars, nearly full power. On the phone, I found 2 pictures of Sadie and one 15-second video that I had made of her. It was truly a miracle, undisputable proof, and there is no way a cell phone could possibly hold nearly a full charge after a year of no use at all. And 2 weeks before that, of course, as expected, I had no power at all. I can't tell you how this makes me feel. I've never expected something so solid. If anything at all, I feel it is the biggest gift. So obviously it's a sign, a connection with my dear, most loved Sadie. I'm amazed and overwhelmed. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. And there's a picture of the cat here, but it's, a calico cat. It means a lot to this person, but there's nothing paranormal about it, so I'm not going to show it. It's just a picture of a cat. And it's beautiful, though. Yeah, that's cool. I find that really interesting because I've often wondered what are pet spirits capable of? Because we talk to our pets, but I often wonder, well, what do they really understand? And maybe they understand more than we think. Maybe they are really tuned in to us. And I think there is something to that, though. I think that when you have a pet and when you love a pet and have a relationship with these beautiful little animals, that there is like an emergence of their spirit. It like emerges and blossoms and grows into something then more than it would have been without you. And I don't know that that's true, but I just kind of feel that because there's some kind of a connection that we have with our animals that's the same and different than with other people. But if you think about relationships that we have with other people, they do make us grow, and they do make us learn, and they do make us expand, and we do evolve from them most of the time. Sometimes they cause us to de-evolve, but when they're good relationships, and I'm only speaking of good relationships, but they do give us something. They give us something more, and they create a better us. And so I can't imagine it's much different for, a pet, a beloved pet, or, that's a part of the family. It's a part of what you're doing. And there's that connection there. And maybe we evolve them in a sense just by their involvement with us. And maybe they evolve us as well. I'm not saying it's a one-way street, like, our greatness brings out their greatness. I think they have a different kind of potent, incredible energy that's so in sync with the natural world around us. But I think we pull them, I don't know. It's like an evolution of spirit that happens in relationships. So I can't imagine it's much different. So maybe the spirits of our loved pets that have passed on really are with us and really are communicating with us and are able to understand us. Like when we speak the words, because words are just vibrations, right? And they are born of our spirit. They are born of something emotional and in our soul, and or at least in our minds. And I can't say everybody always speaks with their soul, but you know what I mean. And so perhaps they can just hear it on that energetic level and understand completely. So I think it's really beautiful, though. Really cool. I love me some pets, even though they're little, they're little challenges sometimes. I'm thinking of Anubis right now, but yeah. He can be just a little turd. He's so aloof and weird, but I love the little guy. All right, the next one is coming from West Virginia, ladies and gentlemen, and this has to do with miscellaneous kind of activity. So let's see what's going on in West Virginia. It says I've heard of a couple people having experiences with angels, but up until now, I don't remember ever having any experiences before. Hi. You can stand up. I'm just reading stories. You stopping in? Ladies and gentlemen, the minion, my little boy. Thanks for stopping by. All right, let me get back to the story. Sorry about that. One cold winter day, me and my sister decided to go visit our cousin, who lived about 10 miles from us, and we were on a 2-lane country road that was both steep and curvy. We were moving along pretty good when we hit black ice. That stuff is nasty. Black ice, in case you haven't heard it, if you're not from the north, it's like an ice that's usually caused by exhaust, I think. Or, I don't know, something about the car exhaust creates this gloss of ice. Okay, shh. And so that stuff is slick. And you can hardly see it. It looks just like blacktop. So you can't see it like normal ice. But anyway, the car started to spin around. And the next thing we knew, we were heading down over the hill through a bunch of brush and trees. And it was a weird feeling. It was like the car was moving in slow motion, like time had just slowed down. The car came to a stop up against a big pile of dirt. I looked up and saw the face of a lady looking back at me through the windscreen. And she was smiling, and she mouthed the words, "It's okay." But then she was gone. I looked over at my sister, and she was staring out the windscreen, and I asked her, Did you see that? And she said yes. When we were able to climb out of the car on the passenger side, we looked around, and there was no one there. We walked around to the driver's side of the car, and it was smashed. And no wonder the door wouldn't open. And we started walking back up the hill where the car went down and over, and we finally made it back up to the road. It seemed like forever before a car finally came by. They wanted to know if we were okay, and we were. We went to the edge of town where our car went down. We went to the edge of the road where our car went down over the hill, and we had missed every tree. If it hadn't been for what we believe to have been a guardian angel, we may really have been hurt or killed. Yeah, that's beautiful. I've personally heard stories from people who have experienced what they believe to be a guardian angel, an angel that kind of intervened and helped them out. And one was a lady that I know, and she had a car accident, rolled her car with her and her brother were driving when they were teenagers. And she said that they both, and it was out in the mountain roads, and they said that they both were just kind of in the car, and this woman walked up and was talking to both of them and helped them get out of the car and help them out. And then they both turned away, and when they turned back, the one was gone. The interesting thing is that both of them perceived her a little different. Her brother perceived her as a blonde, I think it was, and the lady perceived this helpful spirit as a brunette, or vice versa, or one of the two. But it was so funny that they both had an experience with this being, but both of them were seeing something different. So that's pretty amazing. Are you checking it out? The little delay in the feed. Isn't that funny when you move and then it takes a while and then you move over there? Yeah, he's just fascinated with with the YouTube feed as we're recording here. So, but thanks. All right, let's go to the next one. That was a good story, though. I am always really heartened by those stories because it's nice. A lot of time ghost stories are all creepy and weird and scary, but it's beautiful to have stories like that every once in a while. It's like, yeah, it's not all dark. It isn't all creepy and weird. There's some really wonderful spirits out there and beings out there that are helping to look after us. Are you okay? What are you doing? You having a good time? Yeah? What's your favorite YouTube show? Paranormal Portal? No. All right, get out of here, kid. You're bugging me. Get out of my space. You're bugging me, yeah? Take off. Okay, work with me here. All right, you just relax your mouth, and I'll take care of it, okay? What's your favorite show? Paranormal Portal, Daddy. Oh, I knew you loved that show. That's a great show. That's awesome. Yeah, that's right?
No, it's not.
What? I'm sorry, what was that?
No.
Okay, yes, it was. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by.
No. No. No.
Yeah, he's a good singer, actually, Nessie. He loves to sing. They're saying, sing for us. Do you want to sing something or no? How you feeling about that? Little too soon? Too soon? Too shy? It's okay. I'd be a little shy too. Buddy. But you are a good singer. Are you a good singer? Yes, I am, Daddy. I love to sing. I know, because I hear it all day long. All right. All right, buddy. Are you done? Are you going to just sit here and I'm going to continue? What if I get a scary story, though?
I won't be scared.
You won't be? Are you brave? All right, let's have it there. All right. Just cut off the old block, aren't you? All right, let's see what we can do here. So did I read this one? Yes, I did. All right, let's get to the next. Looks like I got to load a whole new batch here. So just hold on tight, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be digging up a new batch. Fresh out of the Paranormal Portal ovens.
Uh-huh.
Are you just here to keep me entertained?
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah.
Let's see, what time is it? Yeah, we got a few time. I got time for one more here. I got a whole batch just pulled up here. All right, so the next one, ladies and gentlemen, is coming from Illinois. Why is Illinois funny? What's funny about Illinois? Is that a funny name?
I did this.
You're doing that? Okay, let's not do that. This is trying to take over the show. Hey, this is my show. Get out of here, kid. Get out of here. Go on, yeah? This is my spotlight. All right, so, okay. Well, it's official. What the hell is this? Okay, I'm here in Illinois and had a close encounter last night. Also, I was tired at the time, and I heard that all too familiar cough and then began hearing noise after noise. And I was the only one in the house, and it was getting really late. I heard feet shuffling in the house, somebody out on the porch, and kept hearing random things throughout this house being messed with. I even took a short video, but got nothing. Otherwise, I would have posted it. It didn't take long before I got tired of it and put headphones on, and instantly the noises out there stopped. I checked and dead silence had resumed. You got gas? What was that?
My mouth.
Your mouth. I know it was your mouth, but okay, stop, please. I gotta read the story, okay? I never saw anything this time, just heard noises. Now, the main reason for this post is to discuss the theory that I'm beginning to develop about who and what Jerry really is, though I have no speculation on this other spirit he's teamed up with, which is in my most recent story besides this one. Okay, we'll just have to wing it on this one, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. I didn't realize we're going to be referring to other stories. Okay, have you ever heard of a tulpa? Okay, I have personally, and I'm sure most of you have out there as well. They're basically a thought form, an energy thought form that's manifest in some degree. And I've begun researching this concept, and I'm beginning And I'm beginning to give credence to the idea that Jerry could very well be a manifestation of my own thoughts. But here's the catch. It seems that the less active my own consciousness is, the more active his is. I have in effect actually given life to what seems to be a doppelganger of myself, because from the few times I have seen him, and one brief time I caught a glimpse of his face, he seems to have the exact same build and height that I do, only he appears deceased and pale and is clean shaven. A number of things seem to trigger these Jerry encounters, and it's taken me this long to figure this out. Jerry only ever seems to appear when I'm not expecting him. It could be anything: depression, stress, boredom, fatigue, any situation where my mind is predisposed to any feeling other than 100% alertness. Are you okay there? Yeah, you're supposed to drink it, not breathe it, okay? It goes in your tummy, not your lungs. But I do that all the time too. Okay, good. Good studio cough in there. So let's see, where the hell was that now? Let's see. A number of things seem to trigger Jerry's encounters, and it's taken this long to figure this out. Jerry only seems to appear when I'm not expecting him, and it could be anything: depression, stress, boredom, fatigue, any situation where my mind is predisposed to any feeling other than 100% alertness. But it doesn't happen every time, or if it does, I simply don't catch it. I think Jerry is, in fact, not a ghost, which leads me to believe perhaps this has been the wrong place all along to talk about it. He shares no characteristics with a normal ghost and seems to work in cooperation with my own subconsciousness. And I think he possesses an intellect and similar mindset that I do. He's tricky. He isn't exactly everybody's best friend. He works in mysterious ways and yet has somehow outsmarted me all these years, to the point that it has taken this long for me to fully understand him and how he works. Basically, Jerry is me, or rather a different side of me. He has the ability to be heard by others, but only when he chooses to be. Jerry has never been trying to gain anything from me, advice, help, or anything. He messes with me. He, in this way, entertains me. And I think he is basically manifestation of a lot of things, the aforementioned boredom, stress, and depression. Only he is a physical being whose consciousness is strengthened by my lack thereof. Now, I do also have a theory of the other spirit, and I think that is an actual ghost. I believe this Jerry, my own manifestation of myself, is able to commune with the spirit side of the world. This other spirit's identity, I don't believe, plays any true significance. The important thing is, in a way, I can communicate with the afterlife through Jerry. And I know I'm making no sense, and it's hard to explain what I'm trying to say. The best way I can put it is Jerry is me, but the spiritual version. It's as though he is my very soul, but the strength of his or my ability to separate from my physical body depends upon the percentage of my mental activity. His cough is that of a smoker. I was a smoker. It all fits, really. Jerry is really me. A few people have said, have actually made this very suggestion to me, and now it's making perfect sense. I essentially have control over what Jerry does, I think. The times I have found items or objects misplaced or lost, it's my own doing, Jerry's own doing. This physical form I've created is actually manipulating objects in real time, for lack of a better term. So tell me, is there anyone out there who can potentially give any justice to anything I've just said? Is Jerry, in fact, my own spirit, able to dissect from my body and move freely about? Or is this a bogus explanation, merely evidence that I've truly lost it? I'd love some feedback. Here's the thing. If what this person is basically stating is that this Jerry, as they call it, is an extension of themselves. I don't know that that's really how it works, but he may have given birth to this Jerry, and there may still be a connection, but I don't know if it's an active connection, like as far as a true extension of ourself, or if just through a period of his life he created this being. I think that this presence probably has its own reality, and isn't incumbent or dependent upon him. I find it interesting. He says that it's more active when he's less active, but our attention is just more active when we are less active, What, honey?
Daddy, the time is 7:42.
The time is 7:42. You're right. Yeah, that's great. That's a good job. Nice work. You read the clock, huh?
I'm just gonna tell you the time.
You're just going to tell me the time? What time are you waiting for? Are you waiting for me to be done?
8:30.
8:30? Yeah. Is that what time I'm going to be done? Okay. I'm actually going to be done doing the show at 8, but I'm going to be tied up for about another half hour, though, okay? Okay. So why don't you go hang out there, okay? You want to hang here? Okay. All right. For the time being. But you got to sit quietly, okay? All right. Thank you. All right.
Cookie Monster.
So I don't think that this Cookie Monster. Yeah, that's Jarvis. That's his icon is Cookie Monster. You're right. Uh-huh. Anything else you want to say quick? Isn't that funny? That's his nick.
Cookie Monster is cookie.
Yeah, it's the same person, honey. That's just different stuff he said in the chat room. So, yeah? Okay? All right. Yep. All right, we're done with your tour of the screen. So sit quietly now while I finish, okay?
And now see, your screen changed. It changed.
It did change. Yeah, I changed it before the show. Yeah.
Because you're gonna do a movie, right?
No, this episode is called Night Terrors. And so I put on the screen the word Night Terrors so that it shows the name of the show, I guess.
And also, this looks like a box.
It looks like a box. Oh, okay.
Look like box.
I think it's a headstone, but okay. Yep, you're right.
And also, that's a ninja.
That is a ninja. Okay. All right. Are you ready to sit quietly now while I finish, please? Okay, you got to do that, okay? Otherwise, you're going to have to go find Mom, okay? You want to sit here quietly? Okay. All right, so begin now. This is the quiet game for you, okay? Starting now. Okay. So I don't think Jerry is necessarily a distinct part of him because he becomes aware of Jerry when he's less busy or less active. Well, we're always more acutely aware of presences as we're less aware of what we're doing in our own days, when our consciousness or our focus can extend. So, sorry, those are just my thoughts on that. I think that that's important, but it's an interesting story, and I love the fact that what he's saying is probably very partially true. He very well, I think we do manifest these things. I think we can. Again, I have to refer back to the woman who was pregnant who lost her husband, who cried at the kitchen sink, but then years later after having the baby, or a little while later after having the baby, she moved out of the house, sold it, and moved to somewhere else. Well, the people that bought the house keep experiencing this apparition of a pregnant woman crying at the kitchen sink. Well, she's very much alive. So she was able to create this residual impression, though, through that pain and such. So I think that's pretty interesting. Please don't do that, okay? Thank you. You're kind of you're kind of making this an adventure, aren't you? Okay, no more adventures. Let's just sit nice, okay? But we do know or have example of that. So I think this apparition could have been created by him, but I don't know that it's distinctly still connected with him as he believes. But maybe it is. I'm just saying, just some thoughts. All right, let's move on to the next one, and this one is coming from Illinois. This is, huh? You lost the next one. Yeah. Yep. Is this the quiet game still? Okay. All right, that might be a point off there, but all right, we'll continue. This one has to do with apparitions, voices, and touches. So this isn't my personal experience, but it's one from my 12-year-old son. Before I share it, I'd like you all to know that his experience took place before McKinley Park, but after my friend's passing, which must be other experiences they've shared. And I'm not sure if any of my experiences are directly involved with my son's story. One night at about 10 p.m., my son decided to take a shower. My other children were in bed asleep, for there was school the following morning. Yeah, I was a little upset that my son wanted to shower so late, but that's beside the point. My husband was off at work. He works the evening shift. And I was sitting at the dining room table with my husband's laptop, and about 20 minutes later, my son came running out of the bathroom with a goofy grin on his face. And he ran past me into the living room, peeked into his bedroom, and then ran up to me, still with a silly grin on his face. And I just kind of gave him this funny look like, what are you grinning about? So I asked him, what? And he still had the grin, and he asked me where Dad was. Well, at this point, I assumed he had lost his mind because he knew Dad didn't get off work until 11 p.m., and it was only 10:30. So I told him, he's still at work. My son looked at me as if I was lying, and then said, you know, Dad, and then if I was lying, I then said, you know, Daddy doesn't get off until 11. It's only 10:30. Well, I guess he noticed the time, and by my facial expression, that I wasn't lying. So he said, but I heard him cough. Now, my husband does have a smoker's cough, but he wasn't home from work yet. And I told him again, I swear, Boo, Dad's not home yet. He stood there for a few seconds, looking confused, but went to bed anyway. When my husband did come home from work, I told him what had happened, and he just kind of laughed, which I probably would have done as well. My son was a little freaked out by it, but doesn't dwell on it. In fact, he reminded me of this story a few days ago, but I couldn't post it until now. I know. Supposedly, the previous male owner passed away in one of the bedrooms, but I'm not sure which one, and I didn't hear this cough, so only my son did, and it only occurred that night, and no one was outside. My question is, did he really hear a cough like he claims, or is my husband's cough embedded in his head? Any comments or theories are appreciated. Yeah, I don't know. It's a cough. I don't know. I mean, residual sound, maybe. Maybe it's a moment the son connected with the dad. I don't know. That's a strange one. Not unusual. A lot of times people hear mimicked voices. Many, many, many times we've heard people say, I heard my mom call my name, and then I realized she was at work. And, things like that. People hearing familiar voices calling their name when that person, the familiar voice, isn't even there. So I guess coughs could be the same thing. All right. What are we doing? What's the time now?
7:50.
7:50. You are correct, sir. So we're getting there. Okay. So this one is coming from Florida. It has to do with children who see spirits.
Children that see spirits?
Yeah. Apparently there's children that see spirits.
That's creepy.
That is creepy. Have you ever seen a spirit? No? Okay. Well, that's cool. Well, thank you, Kirsten. I appreciate that. Aw. That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Monsters don't exist.
What's that?
Monsters don't exist.
No, I think, monsters, most often monsters are people. But there's weird things that exist, I think.
And also, there's like creepy stuff going on at 3 a.m.
There's creepy stuff at 3 a.m.? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
Like stuff falling.
Where? Here? In our house? Or just other places?
Other places.
Oh, sure. Yeah, 3 a.m. is kind of a weird time, isn't it? Okay, you're going to go with Mom, okay? So I can finish up the show? No? All right. What are you doing? I got to finish the show, okay? Okay. All right, there you go. Thanks. Thank you for coming by. Okay, good boy. All right, so we're going to Florida, and this has to do with children who see spirits. It says, my name is Chelly, and everything in this house started happening when my baby brother was born. Strange things from conversations to noises. When my brother was about 1, things really started showing up. For instance, Mom would look at the monitor from the downstairs living room and see him pointing to various areas of the room. At first, no one thought anything about it. But then, when Hunter, my brother, was about 2, he was standing in the kitchen talking to Mom about random things. Then, out of nowhere, he points to the formal and shouts, "Look, a ghost." In the area where he's pointing was a cold spot, and my mom got shivers down her spine. This type of stuff happened for a while, and finally when my mom heard Hunter having conversations again, she asked if there was someone there, and gradually lifted his arm and pointed to both sides and says, "Yeah, a guy there and there." And she asked whether they were nice or not, and he replied with a yes, proceeded laughing. Another incident was when my mom and dad put Hunter to bed, and about 30 minutes later, there was a loud and repetitive banging on his door. The crazy thing is, when she opened it, there was no one there except for Hunter, who was lying fast asleep in his bed. I don't personally live here. I just hear the stories, and even I was hesitant to believe, but something happened last night, and now I have no reason but to believe. A friend and I thought it would be cool to pull an all-nighter watching werewolf movies. At around 1:30 a.m., I heard Hunter's monitor going off. First it was static, and then clicking, followed by a low muffled whining. And I instantly shot up to go check on him, and that's where, except there was no baby monitor downstairs, so I waited and waited, and again, the noise continued, and I went upstairs to see if my brother, was awake. Nothing. He was out. Downstairs, the noise ceased. Then my friend happened to see out of the corner of his eye a shadowed figure rush through the kitchen and into the formal. I guess that's a dining room name, a formal. Needless to say, we were freaking out. But it gets better. After the noises stopped at around 4:30 a.m., a new noise occurred. Bang, bang, bang. The sound of 3 slammed doors followed by hurried footsteps. 2 sets of hurried footsteps, both very different. We checked upstairs, and to our amazement, the only door that was closed was my friend's. Hunter was missing from his room, so we assumed he caused the first set of footsteps, and the wind from the open window caused the door to slam shut once. The others are still unexplained. Plus, the air conditioning unit door was open. That door, however, is always closed. We hurried off downstairs, and when my friend saw the grayish figure once again running the opposite direction, when I told Mom of our supernatural event, she said more activity has been occurring since my friend, sister, and I arrived for a visit. So is my house indeed haunted? Do I have something to be concerned over? Maybe. You might very well have something to be concerned over, but what can you do about it? What are you going to do about it, huh? It's hard to know for sure, but yeah, it sounds like something's going on. Sounds like the little brother, the baby brother, has definitely got some skills, though, which is cool. I think that's wonderful, as long as they're, seem to be raising him in such a way as to embrace that and not to make it weird or creepy or horrible. So I think that's awesome. Very cool story. Awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, I 45 watching and 30 likes. What is up with that? That's like Common Core math, right? Or do 15 of you not really like what you're seeing? Oh, I don't know, but if you could, please give us the likes. It helps us a ton and makes me smile. So if you want to see me smile, click the likes. All right, guys, that's going to about wrap it up for me. Again, one more song encore. One more song encore. Well, you want one more story? Let's see how big this is. This one's okay. I'll do this one, and then we'll call it a night, okay? Because Monday and Tuesday nights. Of course, we don't have a live stream happening, so I'll give you another story here. Remember, too, by the way, we're going to be releasing the podcast this evening. I'll get that out there. The new podcast Don and I recorded this week will be coming up, so we'll get that done. Oh, I think I forgot to do a recording today. Oh, I hate when I get busy. But anyway, so keep watching for that, and thank you for your support on our podcast. You can find the Paranormal Portal podcast on all the major platforms. And don't forget our Teespring site. The link is in the description to help support us that way. We appreciate it, but this is the last story coming out of California. Has to do with haunted places. It says, this happened to me in the fall of 2003. I was working late one night and had to send 2 of my employees home because no one had come to pick them up. I sent one of them home and offered to drop the other employee off, and the employee I was dropping off wanted to drive home, so I agreed to let her drive. As we were driving, we came upon a stop sign. We're debating whether to go around to the lighted street or just to take the dark street with no light, but was a quicker route. While at the stop sign, I noticed 2 animal-like eyes glowing from the shoulder of the road by the cemetery. My employee at this point decided to take the quickest way, which is past the cemetery. Well, when we got there, where I had seen the glowing eyes, I decided to look at the shoulder of the street to see if I could see what was there, but seeing nothing, I turned my attention back to the front, and then all of a sudden, a dog barked wildly, and then there was sudden silence. I turned back to see if she had hit a dog or if a dog was chasing the car, but I saw nothing. I thought to myself, that was weird. Being curious, I turned to my right again, and to my surprise, I saw the most horrifying thing in my life that I will never forget. This is what I saw: a pale, fat man with grayish, smoky texture. He looked like a dead person in the morgue. I didn't take my eyes off him, but he seemed to want to get into the car and was peering in over by my window. Both his hands appeared to be touching my car, but they weren't because he was about 1 to 2 inches away. I saw him for a good 10 seconds by my window. My body slouched down and I could not move. This was the first time I ever felt like this or was this scared. At this point, I turned to my employee and asked her to drive faster. I had told her what I had seen, and she laughed and slowed down to 15 miles an hour. Oh, what a jerk. When I turned back to see if whatever it was still there, it was gone. She told me she saw or heard nothing. After that day, that window of my car has never misted up. I just sold the car a couple of weeks ago, and I never went close or even past that place again. I'd like some input on what I saw that night. Well, I think he saw a spirit. I think he saw some kind of ghostly being trying to hitch a ride out of the cemetery. That's creepy stuff, but I guess that's going to wrap it up, guys. That's all I got for you. I hope you enjoyed the ride tonight. Sorry for the distraction of the minion. He just, I don't know. He's never done that for a long, long time, except when he was wee little. He came in a few times on some old shows, and you can find those if you look at the archives on YouTube way back. But yeah, it's kind of, I hope it wasn't bad. I don't know. I don't plan these shows out, so obviously whatever happens, and we roll with it. But yeah, Frodo. He was actually Frodo for Halloween one year. It was really great. When he was 2, we dressed him up like Frodo and put a ring on a chain on his shirt. It was awesome. It was really adorable. In fact, I wonder if I have a picture of that. If you guys will indulge me for a second in a daddy moment here. I want to see if I do. I don't know if I do or not, to be honest with you, because I haven't dug that one up for a long time. Excuse me just a sec. I got a cough. But yeah, that's the minion right there. He's a little turkey. But it's just funny the things that come out of his mouth. It's like, where does that even come from? How do you even think of those things? And he's so smart and articulate. He'll just come up and be like, Daddy, blah, blah, blah. It's like, wow, where did you figure that out? Like, he'll come up with math things. Hey, Dad, this plus this equals this. It's like, yeah, it does. And I know, I mean, he's 5, so kids are like figuring those things out anyway. But I don't know. Every parent always feels extraordinarily proud when their kid does something. So I'm no different. I'm just looking. I don't know if I do have anything. Nothing. I guess I can't find anything now. But sometime I'll show you guys the Frodo picture. It's just adorable. He's just a little cutie face. I'm surprised it wasn't in the pictures, but that's, I guess not. I'm just looking one more time here to see if I might have missed it. It's just a really cute picture of him as a little. Oh yeah, I do. Never mind. Here it is. I'm putting it up on the screen for you guys to see, and then I'll put it on camera if you're still there. Waiting for my computer to catch up with me. If it will. It's being rather sluggish. Sorry, shouldn't take that long. Apparently it's going to take that long. Let me try again. This is him. Well, theoretically, this is him. If it'll open, I'll show you. We'll see. Okay, yes, here it is. This is the minion as Frodo the year for Halloween. I think he was 2. Maybe he was just, no, I guess he was 1.5. 1.5 he was here when we went trick-or-treating. That's my little Frodo. So now you've seen it if you hadn't seen it before. But it was cute. It was a lot of fun. It was just it's so adorable. So now you guys get to see my family slides. I hope you like that. That's my little Frodo. So, yeah. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. But that's all I got for you. Thank you, Nessie. Thank you, Farm. Thank you, Gemini. Thank you, Duke. Thanks, Digger. I appreciate it. Everybody, thank you so much. I will be away for 2 days as we go through the Monday, Tuesday hiatus while I work on stuff. But you have a good night too, Justin. Thank you, brother. Lots of love to all of you. Thank you so much. Love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. I'll talk to you guys on Wednesday when Don's back and rejoin me in the studio. And we'll bring you another 2 hours of Paranormal Portal fun. So take care, guys. Have a great night and sweet dreams.